Hello my tigers, it's Alex here. Welcome to today's video. We're going to discuss why the school and the courses don't work when it comes to language learning. Why so many people come out disappointed out of these spaces because they haven't made any progress. The answer is pretty obvious, but in this video I'm going to give you a wider view why I think it's so, and I'm 100% sure why is the reason, because I see in myself, I see in my students when I was teaching them. And the answer, you can click away from this video if you want right now when I tell you, but the answer is that it's very boring. That's the most important thing. It's very boring. That's why people cannot continue, cannot make progress, and just are not motivated to study. Which is, if you're not motivated, of course, if you're not disciplined as well, it's very hard to make progress in anything in life, especially language learning, because it takes a long time, it takes a lot of effort. And it's obvious that people are quitting because it's very boring, but now I'm going to explain to you in a couple of ways, so for you it's better to understand, and maybe this helps you when it comes to your specific language learning experience. So when I was teaching guys, I was a private English teacher here in Bulgaria, so basically I had groups, I have individual lessons with people that are speaking Bulgarian, and I'm trying to teach them how to speak in English. And when I was new to this system, I was following everything that they told me. So I was following pretty much the standard system of learning, which is by notebooks, which is by audio tapes, CDs, listenings. And of course, because I had no experience, I tried to teach with this method. And I had different experiences. Then a little bit after that, I started teaching individual, like a private, not following any curriculum, just private. However, I like, with my laptop, just preparing some exercises, explaining the grammar in my own way, with my own tempo, and just building the puzzle with my clients, with my students, individually, for everybody, absolutely different. And I saw a world of a difference. Really, when I say world of a difference, I mean a very, very big difference, much higher rate of satisfaction in the clients, and much bigger progress, which is the most important thing. So when I was teaching with the so first of all, let me start like this. Sorry for being a little bit chaotic, but when I had one group of 5 people, they were absolute beginners, and we started from zero. We had this textbook that they gave me from the academy, and we started learning lessons from them. And you know how the basic textbook is. It's pretty much lesson number 1. We speak about restaurants. We speak about cutlery, forks and knives and spoons and coffee cup and glass and all this type of stuff. Is like thematic. And then there is one dialogue between Anna and John. They speak, "Oh, hello Anna, how are you today? Oh, I'm just going to the restaurant," and this kind of stuff. What I'm trying to tell you, maybe I'm not explaining it the best way possible, but this, guys, it's so boring. It's ridiculously boring, and I saw throughout time that my students just stopped coming to the lessons, or skipping lessons here and there, or just not being interested in the topics that we're discussing, not being interested in the lessons that we were going through. And this was very sad for me, and I was always looking for the mistake, for the fault in myself, why these guys are not making progress, because genuinely I wasn't seeing any progress in them. On the other hand, when I was teaching individual, I also had this textbook, pretty much almost the same. But then I saw that every person is different. Every person, for example, when it comes to English, because it's the most popular language, everybody knows a little bit or from some area. And I noticed that every single person needs an individual approach when it comes to their learning. And that's when I kind of ditched the textbook and started teaching my own way, with my own pace and speed, of course, depending on the student. And that's when I noticed a very big change in the progress of the students. They were just getting things quicker, because I was spending more time explaining the important stuff, and not this textbook type of dialogue, then a little bit listening, then check the sound, car, park. This is so boring, guys. It's insanely boring. And I realized this is the biggest thing, because let me come to my main point. When it comes to any learning in life, it needs to be interesting. Because how learning happens in the brain makes connections with certain things that we see or hear when there is an emotion attached. For example, if you watch football like me, I watch many football games and many commentaries, many podcasts, and I love football, guys. And because I love football, I make these connections in my head. When I hear a word that I don't know, I really want to learn it because I'm really passionate about this topic. But when it comes to coffee drinking, restaurant, forks, knives, I'm not passionate about this, and it's not interesting. But on the other hand, for example, I go to the UK, I go to London, and I want to have a dinner, and I don't know how to order, or I don't know how to ask the waiter to give me fork and knife, let's say. Yes, but in this case, I have the need for this. I have the desire to ask because it's a real life situation, and because it's something that is, let's say, in this moment I'm passionate about this thing. That's very interesting to me. That's why I'm going to go through the translator, put what is knife and fork, and since this moment, in the best case scenario, I'm going to learn this thing because I need it, because there is a lot of emotion, even could be a little bit stress and anxiety when it comes to asking the waiter. And that's how I'm going to learn these words forever, because there's much more emotional connection to these words. I hope that you're understanding me where am I going with this. The school system and the language courses are so boring, and that's why they don't work. And I see it from experience. I don't have that much experience, probably like 6 months of teaching students. And I saw that when I had this individual approach, when I was researching and looking for each specific individual, what to teach them on this lesson, something that is very interesting to them, that's when I saw real progress in my students. That's when I saw people genuinely enjoying the lessons, genuinely enjoying spending time with me. Because it's not only about learning, it's also about, I'm sorry guys, enjoying the process. Because when you enjoy going to these lessons, everything is going to be enjoyable. It's not like a chore. That's why I'm also sorry guys, something stuck in my throat. That's why I'm not a fan of writing words in the dictionary and reviewing them and trying to memorize them, because it's not interesting. And now let me because I think that I can provide you a lot of value, because I'm a teacher and at the same time I'm a student. Because I'm a teacher of English, I'm teaching English, and right now I'm studying German, so I know the both sides. And let me tell you one very nice story. So I wanted to learn German. I was absolutely zero German, and I went to one academy. I wanted individual lessons. First of all, why individuals? Because I want to be taken care of specifically of me. You know, I want the teacher's fullest attention on me and on my specific goals, because everybody has different speed, different things they know or they don't know, etc. So I went into this academy and got my personal teacher, and luckily for me, this guy was an absolute tiger. He's almost the same age as me. And we got on along very well, and he changed the learning process completely. He changed everything. You know, we weren't learning through the textbook, we were learning through me, what I'm interested in. He was looking for exercises on the computer for me specifically. And I started enjoying this lesson so much, guys. Not only because he was a cool guy, which is also important. It's important to like your teacher. That's why it's important to make everything interesting, to make it more like a game, to make it more personal. But this is another topic. Not only I liked him, but I liked the way he was teaching me, because we were also speaking some casual stuff. I was also asking him some things that are like some phrases that I can use, for example. Or I told him, okay, if I go to the supermarket, how can I ask for help the shop assistant, let's say. We were also speaking about our lives, kind of. He was asking me questions about me, and every person is interested in themselves. It was so interesting, such a nice experience. Then after that we continued, and he was the guy that built my my ground for learning German. And such a cool guy, made everything interesting for me. We became friends, and it makes the whole process so much easier. And that's why I'm trying to become friends with my students, because it's much easier for everybody, and it makes the process more enjoyable. And this is my main point of this video, why the school and the courses don't work, because they are boring. Because they put one old lady, 56 years old, that is going to teach everybody, and she doesn't know how the world is going right now. She's old school, where language learning was all about writing in the dictionary and memorizing the words, or going through the textbook lesson after lesson. Now the world is different. Now we live in the internet pretty much. We have so much content to consume, so much information on the internet, and we have the possibility. It's a great pleasure for us to choose what we're interested in and to learn language throughout this topic. This is so strong, but I don't want to make this video to say all the things, in one video. I want this video to be specifically why the school system and the courses don't work. And the reason is very, very obvious, guys. It's because it's boring. As soon as you make your language learning experience interesting, that's when you're going to see a lot of progress. For example, right now when I'm studying German, I try to make everything much interesting for me, especially with the shorts that you're seeing on the channel, because I'm speaking about things that are close to my heart. I'm speaking about my personal life. Everybody likes to speak about their personal life. And I'm going to give you a little bit in the near future my methods for learning language, which I think are the absolute fastest, which I think you need almost no lessons from a teacher, and I think you can absolutely learn a language at home by yourself only if it's interesting and close to your heart. That's why I recommend to my students, watch Netflix, watch your favorite show in the desired language that you want to learn. For example, as I told you, I'm interested in football. Right now I'm looking at German articles about football in German, everything, because I want to know this information, and the only way I can know this information which is written in German is for me to study the words and to translate it and to remember it. This is so powerful, guys. That's how it is. That's why, for example, it's a little bit on the side, but that's why our biggest lessons are our mistakes, because there is a lot of emotional connection towards these mistakes, towards this experience. That's why we learn, hopefully forever, from our mistakes. Because, for example, we go to a job that we really, really don't like, and we waste 1 year of our time making something that we don't like, doing something that we don't like, spending our time in a way that we don't enjoy. And then after this 1 year, we realize that this is a big mistake, because this experience was torturing us to the point that the emotions got so high, we realized this is a mistake, and hopefully we're going to learn this mistake for the rest of our lives, because there is a lot of big emotional problem. And for example, when you go, let's say you speak French, when you go to France and you want to order a taxi, but the people are speaking only French, what do? You go on the translate and you try to read it, try to speak it, even try to remember it. And interestingly enough, these are the phrases that are sticking to everybody. That's why, for example, now my brain is absolutely machine mode. That's why people remember songs. And I'll give you one example. In German, everybody knows this song. Du hast mich. You have me. Everybody knows this phrase because it's an emotional, it's something interesting, it's something funny, it's like something like a meme even. And that's why it becomes so easy to learn. Trust me when I say this, guys, the school system and the courses are not worthy. I'm not saying everything, but personally, the way that I conduct my learning, my teachings, it's much, much, much more interesting, and it's so much more effective. And people just don't want to leave me. People want me to be their teacher because it's so interesting, and we make a connection at the same time, which is also very beautiful experience. School and courses are not the way. We live in 21st century, we live in 2023. Come on. We can learn languages by our own, by engaging our emotions, by making everything interesting. I'm going to make future videos on how to do these things. But for now, remember that the school and courses are the old school way of learning. They can work, of course, but they need to be interesting. I know that I repeat myself, but this point is very, very, very important. As long as it's boring, it's not nice. Anything in life. And we're not going to learn. I hope this video was of any value to you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Tschüss.